Frampton Nuttall had been sent into the country for the good of his nerves. His sister had given him letters of introduction to people she barely remembered in a neighbourhood he did not know. One of those letters had brought him to Mrs. Sappleton's house, where a 15-year-old girl was waiting to receive him.
This way, sir. Mrs. Sappleton will be down presently.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Frampton Nuttall had come to the country in search of quiet. That, at least, was the official explanation. His doctors had advised complete rest, no excitement, no strain, and above all, no violent physical exercise. The room into which he was shown was comfortable enough, but not reassuring. There were cushions, flowers, hunting prints, and on the far side, a large French window standing wide open to the lawn. Frampton sat where he was told to sit and tried not to look as though the act of visiting a stranger had already exhausted him.
My aunt will be down presently, Mr. Nuttall. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me.
Not at all. I mean, I am sure. That is to say, I am very pleased.
Frampton endeavoured to say the correct something that would flatter the niece of the moment without seeming to neglect the aunt who had not yet appeared.
Your aunt is very kind to receive me.
Is she?
I mean, I believe so. My sister gave me the letter of introduction.
Your sister?
Yes. She stayed in this neighbourhood some years ago.
His sister's parting words came back to him with irritating clarity.
I know how it will be, Frampton. You will bury yourself down there and not speak to a living soul.
I hardly think that would be so terrible.
Your nerves will be worse than ever from moping. I shall give you letters of introduction to all the people I know there.
All of them?
Some of them, as far as I remember, were quite nice.
Frampton wondered whether Mrs. Sappleton belonged to the nice division.
Do you know many of the people round here?
Hardly a soul.
Hardly a soul?
My sister was staying at the rectory, about 4 years ago. She gave me letters to some of the people here.
He made the statement in a tone of distinct regret.
Then you know practically nothing about my aunt?
Only her name and address.
Frampton looked around the room again. A pipe rack, a shooting print, a coat thrown with careless ownership over the back of a chair.
You are here for your health, are you not?
Yes, my nerves chiefly. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest.
How dreadful.
An absence of mental excitement.
That must be difficult.
And avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise.
Then a country visit should be just the thing.
So one hopes.
There was a pause. Vera looked at him with the grave attention of a person much older than 15, and Frampton looked anywhere except directly at Vera. His eyes wandered again to the open window.
It is quite warm for the time of year.
You are looking at the window.
I beg your pardon?
The open window.
Oh, yes, I merely noticed it.
You may wonder why we keep it wide open on an October afternoon.
I suppose there is some reason.
There is.
Until that moment, Frampton had thought the room merely awkward. Now it seemed to grow still around him.
Has the window got something to do with it?
With the tragedy?
The tragedy?
My aunt's great tragedy happened just 3 years ago.
Vera allowed the silence to settle. Frampton, who had come to the country to avoid excitement, found himself waiting helplessly for it.
I am very sorry, I had no idea.
Of course you had not. It would have been since your sister's time.
She glanced towards the open window, not theatrically, but as though the object had drawn her eyes against her will.
Out through that window, 3 years ago to a day, her husband and her 2 young brothers went off for their day's shooting. They never came back.
Frampton looked towards the lawn. The window now seemed less like an opening than an invitation.
Never came back?
In crossing the moor to their favourite snipe shooting ground, they were all 3 engulfed in a treacherous piece of bog. It had been that dreadful wet summer, you know. Places that were safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning.
How terrible.
Their bodies were never recovered. That was the dreadful part of it.
Her voice, until now so steady and assured, seemed to lose its polish. The last words came softer, as if they had been used too often and still had not lost their power.
Poor aunt always thinks they will come back someday.
Come back?
Yes, they and the little brown spaniel that was lost with them. She thinks they will walk in at that window just as they used to do.
Frampton tried to arrange his face into sympathy. It was difficult. Sympathy was one thing. A French window kept open for the dead was another.
That is why the window is kept open every evening until it is quite dusk.
Every evening?
Every evening. Poor dear aunt has often told me exactly how they went out, her husband with his white waterproof coat over his arm. And Ronnie, her youngest brother, singing that song as he always did to tease her.
In Frampton's imagination, the boy's voice sounded bright and careless.
Bertie, why do you bound?
She said it got on her nerves.
The room was still bright enough. The chairs were ordinary, the carpet was ordinary. Even the clock continued with a dry, domestic confidence. That was the worst of it.
It must be very distressing for Mrs. Sappleton.
It is worse just before dusk.
Why?
Because that is when they always used to come back. Do you know, sometimes on still, quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling that they will all walk in through that window.
She stopped, not suddenly enough to seem false, not slowly enough to seem rehearsed. It was a relief to Frampton when Mrs. Sappleton entered the room, a relief at least for the first second.
I am so sorry to be late, Mr. Nuttall. I hope Vera has been amusing you.
She has been very interesting.
Interesting was a safe word. Frampton felt it covered sorrow, horror, confusion, and the possibility that he had chosen the worst afternoon in the year to pay a call.
I hope you do not mind the open window.
Not at all.
My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting, and they always come in this way.
The words arrived with ordinary cheerfulness. To Frampton, they seemed to remove the floor from under the room.
They have been out for snipe in the marshes today, so they will make a fine mess over my poor carpets. So like you men folk, is it not?
Mrs. Sappleton rattled on cheerfully about the shooting, the scarcity of birds, and the prospects for wildfowl in the winter.
The birds have been shocking this year, though my husband says the marshes are better after the wet.
Indeed.
Oh yes, he knows every inch of that ground.
To Frampton, it was all purely horrible. The dreadful part was not that Mrs. Sappleton seemed broken by grief. The dreadful part was that she did not.
Vera has not been boring you with local gossip, has she?
I have been trying to entertain Mr. Nuttall.
Very good of you, my dear. One never knows what to say to visitors until one has discovered whether they shoot, fish, hunt, or merely endure the country.
I am afraid I do not do any of those things.
No?
I am here for my health.
How sensible.
She said it with the polite brightness of someone who had not the smallest intention of asking what was wrong with him.
The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest, an absence of mental excitement and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise.
No.
On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement.
Mrs. Sappleton made a small bright sound which arrived just in time to prevent a yawn.
Perhaps tea will be restful.
Tea will be very welcome when the men come in.
Her eyes kept straying past Frampton, past Vera, past the little arrangement of flowers on the table, to the open window and the lawn beyond.
Here they are at last.
I beg your pardon?
Just in time for tea.
Her face brightened with the ordinary pleasure of an ordinary hostess expecting ordinary people.
And don't they look as if they were muddy up to the eyes?
Frampton shivered slightly and turned towards Vera with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. The look failed. Vera was staring through the open window with dazed horror in her eyes. In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frampton swung round in his seat and looked in the same direction. In the deepening twilight, 3 figures were walking across the lawn towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms, and one of them had a white coat hung over his shoulders. A tired brown spaniel kept close at their heels.
I say, Bertie, why do you bound?
There are moments when the mind argues. There are others when the body decides the matter. The hall, the gravel drive and the front gate were dimly noted stages in Frampton Nuttall's headlong retreat. A cyclist coming ran into the hedge to avoid an imminent collision.
Here we are, my dear. Fairly muddy, but most of it is dry. Who was that who bolted out as we came up?
A most extraordinary man, a Mr. Nuttall. He could only talk about his illnesses and dashed off without a word of goodbye or apology when you arrived. One would think he had seen a ghost.
I expect it was the spaniel.
The spaniel?
He told me he had a horror of dogs.
Vera did not hurry. She did not even seem to invent. The explanation arrived as naturally as breath.
He was once hunted into a cemetery somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of pariah dogs. He had to spend the night in a newly dug grave, with the creatures snarling and grinning and foaming just above him.
Nasty experience.
How dreadful.
Enough to make anyone lose their nerve.
Mrs. Sappleton looked from the window to the doorway through which Mr. Nuttall had vanished, and then back to the spaniel, who had begun to sniff hopefully at the tea table. Vera sat perfectly composed. Romance at short notice was her speciality.